Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, Hootler, shills, death, slaves, serfs, peasants, vassals. I am a useful idiot. Today I would like to talk about so-called experts. Of course, the globe is crawling with experts. The government's crawling with experts. Corporate America is crawling with experts. The banks are crawling with experts. The media is crawling with experts. But who are these experts? And why do the average citizens over the globe put any faith in experts? And yet, as the entire system collapses, our government system collapses, the economic system collapses, the corporate system collapses, we still turn to the experts to find out what's going to happen next. Of course, a good example is, let's start with economic experts. So we have thousands of people graduating with economic degrees every day, and they're going to go to work, and they're going to go to work for a handful of different operations, including the Federal Reserve System, which employs 26,000 economists. And so what do you think those experts are going to recommend? Are they going to recommend continued money printing? They're going to recommend government stimulus? They're going to recommend the status quo? They're going to recommend whatever the Federal Reserve and the banking cartel recommends. So there's our economic experts. Of course, none of the 95% of the economic experts didn't see any of the economic calamity that we're now in. None of them saw it coming. If I had $1 for every time I've heard the word unexpected, I'd be a very rich man today. And if I'd listened to all these economic experts, of course, I'd be a very poor man today. So none of them saw it coming, and yet we continue to turn to them for advice. Economic experts say the recovery is in full swing. So, all right, so we can disqualify economic experts. And then we have scientific experts, and they're all on board as well. They're financed by the government and corporations. They work for schools and their research money. They depend on corporations and governments for their research money. And so, of course, once again, they're all going to be on board with the status line. And in this case, they want to pump the green energy scam that all the Democrats are in on. And anybody that has any contrarian news or research in the scientific community that debunks global warming, of course, they're ostracized. Not only does the rest of the scientific community blackball them, but their funding and research money is cut off, and they're sent to the far reaches of the globe. So, here we go again. Why do we listen to these people? They have an agenda. Look at the media. We have all these so-called experts on the media. Where do they come from? So we have people like O'Reilly and Hannity and Beck and Rachel Maddow and all the rest, all the figureheads on corporate news. And they're considered experts. And, why would that be? Look at somebody like Glenn Beck. Okay, he was an alcoholic, a drug addict. He used to be a top 40 DJ. And somehow now, because he's put out front by a network, he's considered an expert on economics, history, government, the Constitution, and everything else under the sun. Sarah Palin. Sarah Palin was chosen to be a vice presidential candidate, the _2 spot in the entire globe. And here's a woman who, got out of school and was a beauty queen and was a sports caster on a local news program in Alaska. And, she's media, knows how to work with the media and has aspirations of being famous and being in front of the camera. And so her entertainment career becomes a political career, not unheard of in our circles. And so now, once again, here's somebody who was a beauty queen and a sportscaster who became a governor and now is an expert on every topic under the sun: economics, politics, geopolitical developments, current events, energy policies. These are our experts these days. Look at our government. Our government is chock full of experts, all these highly educated people that come out of our education system with degrees in economics and politics and every topic under the sun. They're working for our government. And yet our government is chock full of them, more than we'll ever need. And all these so-called experts can't fix any problems, can't fix any of the problems. And those are a bunch more experts. And of course, one of my favorite experts is all the CEOs that run all the major corporations and run these banks, and they're experts. They're the best that money can buy, and that's why they have to make, you know, $10 and $100 million salaries, because they're so good at running their companies. And yet, for the last 4 or 5 years, we're seeing all these banks run like drunk gamblers in Las Vegas. But we have to pay for their expertise. Then, of course, when they're called up to the stand at Congress to testify, these very same CEOs say, hey, I don't know anything about accounting. I don't know anything about running a major corporation. I'm too busy to notice all this stuff. But wait, they're the experts. They're the ones that are supposed to know more about this than anybody else, and that's why they get paid the big bucks. And yet they can go up and say, man, I don't really know anything about that stuff. So, you know, and then we have military advisors. We have all these career military men, and, you know, this interface with civilians in political government. And somehow we end up, even with all these experts, we end up with these foreign policy debacles all over the globe. And of course, it's not missed on me the fact that what they consider a success and what I might consider a success and what American citizens might consider a success could be different things. For example, Libya. Libya is considered a great success by NATO. American citizens have forgotten all about it, but at one point probably considered it some sort of success because we didn't go in there. Yet here's a nation that had renounced terrorism and had one of the highest standards of living, if not the highest standard of living in Africa, and a government that provided well for its citizens' needs. And now it's a country torn apart, living in a civil war, having ethnic cleansing, sectarian violence. The country is essentially in chaos. So what kind of success is that? But the experts assure us that it's a success. So look around the world at all these foreign policy blunders and debacles. Those are all recommended by the experts. Look at our banking system, all recommended by the experts, and it's falling apart and riddled with fraud and corruption. And all the governments in the world run by experts, and yet they've let this whole situation get run out of control to the point where nobody can fix it, not even the so-called experts. So anyway, and then you have your media experts. A good example is The Economist. So The Economist is full of articles by experts and all the people who are interested in economics and politics and geopolitical events. You know, pick up The Economist to find out what's happening. And yet, you know, we go in there and, you know, we hear, here's an article about the Euro crisis, and it says, oh, we don't need to have focus on fiscal policy. We need to just recapitalize the banks. You know, that's what the experts say. No, we don't have to worry about the citizens and the governments and the services and austerity and any of that stuff. We just need to recapitalize the banks. That's what the experts say. So the banks have been getting free money and getting all pumped up and go back to the casino table the last 4 years after the last collapse, and they still haven't learned their lesson, and so they're broke again. They've always been broke. They're broke now. But the experts say, you know, what we need to do to fix it is just give more money to the banks. You know, then we have an article here saying, hey, fracking is great. The promised gas revolution can do the environment more good than harm. So in other words, fracking, which has been proven to unleash earthquakes all over the globe and set your tap water on fire and sets all kinds of diabolical chemicals into our groundwater, all recommended by the experts, I might add. And the experts in here say, well, you know, the economic gains outweigh the fact that, you know, we may unleash holy hell from nature. And, you know, it's not really fair to pick on magazines like The Economist or the Financial Times or International Business Daily or Barron's or any of those because, you know, they're full of experts telling all the other experts what they need to do to stay experts and to keep on top of their expertise. But, you know, it's all just corporate rags and doing the byline. So here's the thing. They're the experts. They continually misread everything. They don't make real predictions. They miss all the true events that come along. and yet they're still on all the payrolls across the globe and considered experts, and everybody looks to them for more of their expertise. Experts say this, experts say that. And just like our government, just like corporations and the banks, no matter how much they tell us it turns out to be lies and turns out to be wrong, those are still the people that everyone turns to. So anyway, I guess my message is, fuck the experts. They don't know any better than you and I. You and I, we can run a household, we can run our families, we can run small businesses, and we know how these things work. So we look at them and we look at this stuff and we go, I think I'm going to rely on common sense, and I look at this and I go, hey, here's a way to address it, here's a way to fix it, here's my expertise. But no, we live in a society where everybody shirks their responsibility and turns to these so-called experts to find out what's going to happen next and what we should do. So I suggest, like Ralph Waldo Emerson said, do not think that the expertise spouted by the so-called experts is any more valuable than what you come up with yourself, thinking for yourself. So that's my big picture. That's my recommendation. People stop looking to corporate blowhards on TV, so-called experts, to tell them how to feel and think. People need to turn off their TVs and put down their newspapers and media, which are also corporate blowhorns, and are not really going to give you any expertise. They're merely molding your opinions and creating problems that only they can fix. And, just because they're scientists doesn't mean they're experts. Just because they're economists doesn't mean they're experts. Just because they're college professors doesn't mean they're experts. Just because they come out with a 4-year or 6-year or 8-year degree in a school system that doesn't encourage critical thinking and problem solving, they're not experts. So, the bottom line, we're in a world of people claiming they're experts who are not experts. People look to them as experts and listen to them as experts, and they're not experts. They're just more people. So, anyway, that's my bottom line. So-called experts, because they are so-called. It's the only thing expert about them. And you experts out there, you're useless idiots. For the rest of us, I'm a useful idiot. Don't you be one too.